sana mtazamaji wa Medal of Praise TV. Ni siku nyingine njema ambayo nimefurahia kuwa mahali hapa. Na asante sana kwa kuchagua station hii ya Medal of Praise. Ninakualika kwenye kipindi The Light Show, where if you knew then what you know now. Na siku ya leo nimekuletea mgeni ambaye tunaenda kujadiliana swala la loss and grief. And it is not what you're thinking about. It is not just losing your father, your mother. Si kifo ama kitu kingine. That's why she's here. Atueleze what is loss and grief and the stages of loss and grief. Na nitachukua fursa hii nimwalike ili atuambie majina yake. Karibu sana.
Asante sana Brenda. Kwa majina naitwa Esther Nyambura Mutuko. Mimi ni mama, mzazi, nimeolewa na Professor Kalio, that's my husband, and I'm happy to be here.
Karibu sana. This is Medal of Praise TV, and this is not the first time we had interview with you.
Sure.
Now, ningependa kukuuliza tuongelee sasa your loss and grief. Tuanze na loss. Ni nini watu wanapoteza hapa? Yes.
Kwanza kabisa acha nifafanue what is loss. And loss is being deprived of something you had. Ile ulikuwa na kitu, ala sasa hauna. So, and there are two types of losses.
Yes.
We have physical loss and symbolic loss. So it's good for the viewer kujua what is physical loss, what is symbolic loss.
Yes.
Physical is something that is tangible. Yani ile unaweza shika. That is now physical.
Kama pesa.
Kama pesa. Kama mtu amekufa, kama nyumba, kama gari. Now that is something that is tangible.
Yes.
So that is now physical loss.
Yes.
When you talk about symbolic loss, now this symbolic is not tangible. Huwezi shika. Ni kama ile, for example, ile kupoteza uhusiano, like friendship.
Yes.
Mlikuwa na urafiki na mtu, and now you are no longer friends with them. Kuna ile divorce. Divorce is still loss, but symbolic.
Yes.
Because you cannot touch divorce.
Yes.
Kuna ile, for example, even retirement. You used to go to work, and maybe you are not prepared for retirement. So what happens to you? You go through loss, and now it's still symbolic. There is also separation. Maybe a separation out of maybe kazi, mtu mwingine akupande ile, mwingine akupande hii. Still that separation. Ama mtoto ameenda kusomea ng'ambo. You see, yes, it's not atile lakini umepoteza ile uhusiano mlikuwa nao ya karibu ya kuona na kila siku.
Yes.
Umeiona. So symbolic is not tangible, but still
it is a loss.
It's a loss.
Yes.
And still it carries the same weight as physical. So wewe sema ati yule mtu amekufiwa ama ule mtu amepoteza nyumba ama gari, uchungu yake ni kubwa kuliko huyu ambao ni divorce. Ni separation, ni whatever, retirement, even retrenchment is still symbolic.
Yes.
Transfer. Because you can imagine you built maybe your future in a certain place, like for example in Nakuru.
Yes.
And then umeambiwa sasa you need to go to Kisumu, maybe you've been transferred to Kisumu ama to Nairobi ama wherever.
Yes.
Ulikuwa umezoea kukua wapi? Nakuru. So now going there is still a loss because you had plans you had for pale ulikuwa umejiweka.
Yes.
So that's still loss. So those are the two types of losses. They symbolic and physical. It's good for the viewer kujua.
Yeah, and do people lose love too? Like
definitely.
Today I love you, tomorrow I don't love you.
Definitely. If you've learned how to love,
yes,
then anything you've learned, you can always unlearn. So today I can learn to love you, and tomorrow I decide to learn how to hate you. It happens. I've seen it happen.
It is loss.
It's still loss.
Now, this is where I say, you just pick your pen in a book, write something. Because I'm bringing it to you for free. Just like that. People, wakikuja kwa ofisi yako, wanalipa ile inaitwa consultation fee.
Of course, we charge for therapy. Because once you come for therapy,
yes,
of course, tunalipisha. So this one is free. Take advantage of it.
You take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Na tumeongea kuhusu hiyo loss, and ninaona kama viewers wamejifunza. We have two types of losses. Is it losses?
Yeah.
We have two types of losses. We have the physical one and symbolic one, venye amesema. Now we are going to grief. What is grief?
And even before, maybe Brenda, let me take you back. Because what I've realized with majority of people, they think just loss is about death.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, you tell me loss and grief, and I'm like, yeah, I also lost someone. Actually,
I've seen people who when I'm talking to them, wanasema, many have not gone through loss because to them, they understand loss kama kifo.
Wow.
Kifo is one of losses. It's moja ya.
Ni moja ya. Na hao mengine ambayo ametaja, kupoteza kazi, kupoteza uhusiano. Na amesema nyingine yenye inakaa positive na ni negative. Ya mtoto wako kwenda ngambo, anaenda majuu kusoma.
Yes.
And now we are going to grieve.
Yes. Now when you talk about grief, now grief is now the pain and suffering that now that you go through after loss. So the first thing to happen is loss. Loss imefanyika. Brenda umepoteza kazi. That's loss. Now what happens after now the loss? Now that is what we call grief. Now you grieve, that's now the pain and suffering. And it can be both inward and outward.
Yes.
Because you grieve inwardly. Inwardly is what you are not able to see. We see sometimes you lose something, you lose a person, and then people because we associate grief to screaming, crying.
Yes.
It's part of grieving, yes. But that's not what we call mourning. There are people who grieve inwardly.
Yes.
But there are also people who grieve inwardly and outwardly. So it's good to understand. But now grief is the pain and suffering that a person goes through after now the loss. Yeah.
This is where a person starts behaving somehow. She or he was going this way, and now this person started separating himself from others. He doesn't want to talk about things. He stops eating. Others stops bathing. Others stops communicating.
True.
It's all. Others will start talking alone on the road. Wana solve hiyo maneno situation kwa barabara. Unapata nilifanya hivi. Akisema nilikwambia usifanye hivi. Sasa kama hungefanya hivi.
Exactly.
A person starts talking to himself. It's like na kwa kichwa chake anaona kama kuna watu kwa baraza pale anaongea. Now that one is grief.
Now that is grief because we say grief is manifested in 4 areas. It's good for the viewer ajue. We have the physical manifestation.
Yes.
We have the cognitive manifestation, we have the emotional manifestation, and we have the behavioral manifestation. So when we come to emotional, for example, emotional manifestation is whereby now this person, they are preoccupied, they are sad, they're irritable, very irritable. So emotionally, they are not, the emotions are affected. This is emotional manifestation.
Yes.
When we come to behavioral, this is where now their appetite is either they eat too much, or they don't eat at all. They sleep too much, or they don't sleep. They want behavioral, they want to be alone. They self-isolate. They want to be alone. This person used to be with people. He's a people person, a person who loves people, a company. But now they are isolating. This is a person also who wants to be there, because they are afraid to be alone because of this loss.
Yes.
So this is in behavioral manifestation.
Yes.
Then we go to the cognitive. The cognitive is whereby, for example, there is the self-reproach, the mind.
Yes.
There is hallucination. Sometimes you see this person. Actually, you can meet this person. If it is, for example, loss of a person, maybe it is the mother who died. Sometimes unasikianga wakisema, my mom. Hata tulikuwa tunaongea na my mom. Ama nini amuoni my mom.
Wow.
So they are the presence of that person is around them. Then you also realize they are not able. Sometimes they are not thinking in the right way. Even coordination becomes a problem. They can tell you this something size, the next minute they do something else. They shift things bila hata ile mwelekeo ama ile mpangilio.
Yes.
Sometimes they are not able to coordinate mambo. Concentration goes chini. Hata sometimes I've seen people hata wamesimamishwa kazini ama wanapewa time off because of loss. They cannot perform a task. That is now cognitive manifestation.
Yes.
Then when we go to physical, people suffer. Sometimes people tell you after now loss of whatever kind, whether physical, whether symbolic.
Yes.
You realize a person will tell you, akisqueeze nasikia kifua imebana, chest pain. Some there's a issue with indigestion, bloating of the, bloating. Others joints.
Yes.
For example, if it is a woman, they get irregular periods. They used to have regular periods. Zinaanza kukatika katika.
Yes.
I've seen that. Sometimes headache, unexplained headache.
Yenye haishi.
So those are some of the physical manifestation. And we only say this is now. You cannot say your grief is manifest if you've not suffered loss. Kama hizo ni vitu zile ulikuwa nazo kabla ya loss,
yes,
usiseme ni loss imesababisha. Now these are things that come after loss. Yes, we need to be clear on that. Yes.
These are things that come after loss.
Yes.
Now there are changes of a lot of things a person goes through. Jesus is our Lord and Savior. And Esther hapa ni counselor, ametumwa. Ningependa usikize atufundishe leo hii 5 stages of loss and grief. Mpaka tukuje tukubane sasa mimi have lost her, mimi have lost him, and life needs to go on.
Yeah.
Sometimes we jump over and say, pole sana, you have lost him, pole sana, but life must go on. There are those stages a person need to go through. Na because hatujui. Kuna watu hawajui, kuna counselors kama wewe. Unakaa chini unamsikiza. I don't know how you do it, by the way. I need to visit you in your office one day. You allow me sit there and I just look at you as you do your things, because I want how does a person come to you and tell you things? Na natoka hapa amesaidika.
Number one, of course, I'll not allow you come and see how I'm doing therapy.
I know it is not possible.
Because of the issue of ethically, confidentiality. I need to protect the client.
Yes.
But we do it because number one, you need to create an environment whereby the client feels welcome, feel accepted.
Yes.
We don't judge. A counselor, of course, I'm talking about a trained counselor. Because one thing I always emphasize, anywhere I go, I always emphasize, we have quacks counselors. So you'll go to that counselor and then utasema, now they will agree to what you're saying. Kuje uone. Because you see, I'm supposed to protect this person. Remember, they're trusting you with their issues and whatever they have.
Yes.
Then you don't need to break that confidentiality and trust is entrusted on you. So if you go to a trained counselor, they have been trained. They know how to do it. They know they have their own ways on how they make even this person who doesn't talk, they talk.
Oh, wow.
Because that is what we do. That is what we've been trained. It's like you telling me I become a journalist. Maybe I'll not be able to because I've not been trained.
You've not been trained to do that.
Yes.
Okay. And now me, I know that one. That request was next to impossible. It's not that I was not expecting a positive. As I know, there's no counselor who tells me you come and see. But I'm telling you, I'm yearning. Like nike mahali nikuone. How do you handle? Oh, should I come?
Just like the way we are doing. Therapy is talk therapy. Counseling is talk therapy. Unaona vile tu tunaongea?
Yes.
That is how conversation flows once you break the ice.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I would like us to go to stages of loss and grief. And there are these stages that you explained last time very well. Tunaanza na hiyo inaitwa denial. I think, is that one the number one? Denial. Is it denial or anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance? Which one comes first?
When we talk about stages of grieving, what we are saying, any person who has gone through loss, they'll have to go through these stages. They have to.
Yes.
For you to say, for us to say you've navigated well through loss, you have to go through these stages. But then they don't follow each other. It's good to qualify. Like we don't have number one at now niko denial. You stay in denial for like a month.
When it comes to diseases, they say ako stage 1. So I'm expecting you tell me, mgonjwa mwenye tunaongelea leo, loss and grief, ako stage gani? And how long is it going to take? Mtu atoke wapi? Atoke denial. How many months aingie anger? Atoke find bargaining.
And this is what people now expect.
Yes.
But now from where I sit, today you can be in denial.
Yes.
And then tomorrow when you're waking up, you've accepted.
Oh.
Yes. And then after 3 weeks, for 1 month, you're bargaining.
Oh. Again.
Yes. Because remember, it's also good, even before maybe we talk about stages, it's good to tell the viewer, number one,
yes,
if loss is like, let's take an orange. Kila mtu anajua chungwa.
Yes.
If that's the size, and if that is the size of grief, grief will never change from that orange.
Oh.
It remains as that orange. You see how round it is?
Yes.
That's how grief will always remain. So what happens, as you navigate now through these stages, you're able now to overcome grief.
Wow. It does not grow.
It doesn't change.
Wow.
Because if you used to love this person, then at one point, are you going to tell me, sasa, nimepunguza upendo kwa this person was ambaye amekufa?
You can't.
You see, you can't.
You cannot.
So what you do, you learn to, for example, how to live now without this person. And that is our role as a counselor, to help this client and this person now learn how to live, either without the job, without the person who has maybe departed, who has died, maybe after divorce, life after divorce, now after. But grief doesn't change. No wonder even after 10 years, when you are triggered.
Yes, you remember.
And it is as fresh as it happened yesterday.
Wow. Someone does something close to what happened to you. And then you're like, oh, I lost him.
Yes. Sometimes you see them crying. And you'll actually, if you're told the person they're crying for died 10 years ago, their house burnt 10 years ago. You're like, no, but this can't be happening 10 years ago. Because the grief sometimes comes so real, so fresh, like it is happening again. So meaning grief doesn't change. It is you now as a person who now navigates and learn how to live without. No wonder we say the final stage is acceptance. Acceptance is whereby we say you move on. But I think we are going to talk about now the stages. But I needed to clarify that to viewers. They need to know.
Now that we are talking about stages, we are going to start with the first one, which you're going to tell us if it is denial. Ndio tufike pale tujue now what reasons people have of not letting go of something that has already left. I'm just there. Brenda, amekuacha ameenda, and I'm still there. I'm hoping he will come back. I'm hoping he may change. If that person is not dead, I'm hoping he will come back to me. Now we'll find out if kama ilikuwa ni mambo ya love story. Now I'll not get married. Hoping that this man will come back to me one day. That he will remember one thing I did good to him, and he will come back to me. We are going to talk about it. Najua kuna watu wengi wako kwa stages tofauti. Like she has said, si si kama hiyo disease tunaambiwa it is cancer, first stage, second stage, third stage. But ninaamini ya kwamba unasaidika pale nyumbani. We are talking about loss and grief. This is Miss Esther. Na tunawaambia kwamba hakuna kulipa consultation fee today. Just watch the program and take notes. Take note. Take your pen. Take your paper. Take notes. All right. Now tunaingia kwa stages of grief. Denial.
Yes, let's start with denial. And even maybe before we mention denial, there's the numbing phase. Numb ile kuganda. I always say, for example, if news are broken to you, for example, I'm here seated, and then a phone call comes in, and I'm told, Nyambura, nyumba yako imechomeka.
Yes.
You know, the first thing, because the news will be so heavy to me, so what happens? I need to numb. My body needs to numb. So why am I numbing? I'm numbing so that I'm able now to take the news, to absorb the news. Because those news can even make me die.
Yes.
So ndio maana naganda. It's like vile unaonanga ajali imetokea. I always tell this, and if anyone is viewing me who've come for therapy, they've heard me saying this. Ukianguka na gari, for example, let me take an accident, and then umevunjika. Once the moment accident imefanyika, you become numb. Actually, you've seen people ambao mguu imevunjika, mfupa imetoka hivi, but you've seen them walking.
Yes.
They're not feeling pain.
Feeling that pain.
Yes, because at that particular time, the body is numb. So that it prepares, now that you prepare the body to absorb the news, like mguu imevunjika. Maybe I'll never be able to walk again. But if you get into an accident and you don't become numb, chances of you dying are very high. Same case to loss. If news are broken to you by whatever means, because you're not ready, able to absorb the news, something bad can happen. So the body first becomes numb. Yani hata unazambia mtu, by the way unajua, babako amekufa.
Anyamaze.
And then, it's like nothing has happened.
It is the body.
It's the body.
Wow.
Preparing you now. So now after now, so of course unajua hata ukidungwa shindano ya kuganda, it doesn't stay for long.
Yes.
So kuganda inafanyanga nini?
Inarudi inaisha.
Yes. So this person who alikuwa anatembea kama asikii uchungu, unaanza kumuona hata kuamka hawezi. Ama ameanza kujishika hivi. Same case to loss now. So now you've been given time to absorb the news. Now the denial enters in.
So you're trying to tell us that we have two people here who receive bad news differently. There's this one person ukimwambia mtoto wako kwa shule ameanguka na gari na amekufa, she will just take it and maybe collapse, and she might not even wake up normal. Kwa sababu hiyo news wakati nilimfikia mwili wake haukuweza kuganda venye unatuambia. And we have this other person who will say, hey, no. Na nyamaze.
Exactly. It's not a your body numbs. Yeah, it's not a mwili yako inamba. Depends, you know, we are also going to look at maybe Brenda, maybe factors that defines how you grieve.
Yes.
Also, we also need to maybe also going to look at types of grief.
Yes.
It's good for the viewer to know because there are several. But now after numbing, we come to denial.
Yes.
Denial is when, for example, I was with you yesterday and you're telling me you're hearing Nyambura is normal.
No, that one you cannot take it.
So do you say, hata nilijua?
No.
What do you say?
I was with her yesterday.
It can't be.
It is not her.
Are you talking? Exactly.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the same thing?
Yes.
You are denying. Because how does it happen? And the question of it can't be, how, no, that is now denying. You're just denying so that you process imaneno. And there are people actually who after many years they're still stuck at denial. You've seen people, for example, let me talk about loss of death, kifo. You've seen people, a person lost mzee wake, 5 years down the line, hawajaitoa nguo zake kwa wardrobe. They are there.
Wow.
It's still there. When they're serving dinner,
wanaweka sahani yake.
That the deceased itakuwa kwa nini?
Like he's still there.
He's still there. Ile kiti alikuwa anakalia, ataikalia hiyo kiti. Wow. Why? They're still in denial. They're still in denial.
And that is very true. I went to visit my aunt a few months ago, and she is still in denial. Let me just say that. You know, she looked at me, and a few minutes she was crying, and I'm like, did I do something wrong? She was crying. Alafu ninaambiwa, unajua nakumbuka mtoto wake mwenye alipass, aliposa hayana toshana na wewe. How many years down the line, like how old I am, mimi na miaka yenye niko nayo saizi, you are still in denial. She's still in denial. Like she looks at me and she's like, if my child was still alive, angekuwa natoshana na wewe, pengine alikuwa tayari ameanza shule kama wewe. Hivi miaka mingi. That's why I decided to look for you. At least what wajua, they're not living their life now.
Yes.
They're still denying and all that and all that. And others wameanguka kwa mikono mibaya, mtu ana take advantage. Now wewe you're helping. There's this one person anakwambia nitakusaidia mtoto wako arudi. And then he's like, pay this amount of money, pay this. Na wewe kwa sababu you're still serving food, ukiweka mpaka yake hapo, mpaka kijiko. Kama you're still preserving that seat, hakuna mtu anakalia. I'm telling you, kuna mtu anaweza take advantage yako vibaya.
True.
And this is why we are talking. This is called denial. Sasa viewers want to kujua kwa stage gani?
Yes, denying. People deny. People deny in many ways, and it is normal. I tell people, to me it's normal if it has happened between 0 to around 6 months. You can still be denying. But then ikianza kupita hapo, then there's a problem. So you're going to another type of grief because the normal grieving. Now that's another different type of grief. So denying is very normal. So if you're denying that it happened last week, today, yesterday, a month ago, and you're still in denial, it's normal.
It's normal.
But because we don't need also tunahitaji tuambie viewers because kama ulikifua last month, astaki kukustua.
Yes.
It's very normal.
Yes.
That one is normal. It's within the range. But ikiendelea, that is now when you go seek for help. So denying is very normal. Then from denying, we go to anger.
Anger, yeah.
Yes.
I see anger. Now, how does that change? You just denied that your husband or your wife is not dead. Now, anger inatokea wapi? So
anger comes as a result of I've been denying my husband died, my wife died. But then 1 week imeisha, I'm not seeing this person. 2 weeks imeisha, I'm not seeing this person. It's the 3rd week, the 4th week, 1 month, 2 months, whatever. 1 year down the line, this person is not coming. She used to cook for me, sasa mimi najipikia ma nimetafuta mtu wa kunipikia. They used to do ABCD. Now they are no longer there to do the task. If it is retrenchment, for example, retirement, I was a boss somewhere. I used to go every morning. I used to be picked.
Yes.
I used to be saluted. Sasa hakuna. So you are in denial. Initially you are in denial, but now you realize haya.
It is not going to happen.
Hata simu hazipigwi ile zilikuwa zinapigwa.
Hello sir.
So yes. So what's next? Now what comes next is anger.
Wow.
And in anger, I say anger carries several things. Under anger, we have blame. We have resentfulness. We have revenge. We have bitterness. This is under anger.
Yes.
Because it carries this. Because now you're angry, and because you want to locate your anger to something. Remember, it's an energy you have.
Yes.
You want to locate this energy to something.
Yes.
So what do? You start blaming.
Oh.
So who do you blame? You can blame yourself. No wonder we said self-reproach as a manifestation.
Yes.
Because you say, if I knew, if only I did this, if I didn't take my mother to this hospital, my mother would still be alive. If when she called me, I responded immediately, she would still be alive.
Yes.
If I was not born in, for example, you are supposed to retire at 50, and then ulizaliwa, the ages that are equivalent to 50.
Yes.
You can decide even to blame your parents. Bona muliniza at this time don't retire.
Kama hamungepatana kwanza kauka first born, you're like kama hamungepatana hiyo mwaka na kama wewe wakatulelewa, how come ulijifungua the first year?
Exactly.
Why didn't you stay?
So you're locating your anger to something. Yes. So you blame. So you can't blame yourself. I've seen people blaming themselves, saying if I did something, I would have prevented this death. I would have prevented this loss. Then there is blaming the other person. You blame the doctor. Kama daktari angefanya hivi. Kama saa ile nilikupigia simu daktari ungerespond. Kama ungeenda, kama kwanza umpeleke ward, ungempeleka ICU. Maybe you see you are blaming.
You're blaming.
So you're blaming the doctor.
Wow.
You blame even God.
Yes. It happens.
Yes.
A lot.
A lot.
Yes.
And remember, and I'm born again. And I say, remember, God is all knowing.
Yes.
So there's nothing that captures God in surprise. Ati sasa umefutwa kazi and then God pale
hapo surprised.
He knew, even before you were born, he already knew that.
Yes.
But then you start blaming God. Where were you when this was happening?
Wow. Unaanza kusomea Mungu, nasema I was told you are all knowing God. Remember in omnipresent God. I was told that unakwanga everywhere. When this happened, where were you?
Exactly.
Where? So it is a stage.
It is a stage where you are blaming, and you are, for example, you've settled in Nakuru, and God is seeing you already have settled in Nakuru. Then after nimefikisha miaka 45, that is when now God, you are allowing me to be taken to Mombasa. And you see I've built everything here.
Yes.
You see still lost. So you start blaming God. So that is blame. The other one is you become revengeful. Revengeful to an extent, and I've seen this. Sometimes you say, hata hakuna haja kwenda hospitali because si watu hata wakienda hospitali wanakufa. You've heard that statement. So what's the need of rushing to the hospital? And that uko hospitali, even when you have the best doctors, you're still going to die. Wow. So you say, I'll not be going to the hospital. That is you are revenging. Then you say, if I've been faithful to God, I've done everything that I'm supposed to do as a Christian.
Yes.
Yet God, when I called upon you, you never heard me. You allowed this to happen. So sasa mimi uhusiano yangu na Mungu.
I remember I was there one time. I was there, by the way. You were just saying things like, talked about. I told God one time, me and you, we are not going to talk for long. And I didn't. But you find you cannot stop talking to God for long.
You see, I say, actually, I encourage people, be angry to whoever you want to be angry.
Yes.
Blame whoever you want to blame. You know why? You are navigating through loss.
Wow. Wow.
So you need all this, the moment you are blaming God, remember you're removing this energy, the negative energy in you. So when you're asking God, yani Mungu hebu nikuulize kabisa, let's talk like friends.
And this is my sit here.
Yes, sasa chukua kiti leo utakaa chini. You see?
Yes.
And that is why sometimes I love, the relationship maybe even Job had with God, David had with God. They could talk.
Yes.
Talk to God as a friend. He's a friend.
Yes.
And umuulize, now God, this has happened. By doing so, this energy that tunaiwekanga, unaitoa. So blame is still at the anger. Then if you're not able to navigate now well the anger, you become resentful. Resentfulness is now this energy that you've stored, which is bad. And iko tu inasababisha unhappy, you become so unhappy, irritable, sad. You give up, resentfulness.
Yes.
And then it also brings bitterness. You realize you're very bitter.
People have gone through that. You call a person na like, hello. You're like, nilikuwa natafuta. Sasa anakujibu vingine you've not met. Pengine nimepewa namba kama vile nilikuwa yako nikitafuta. And then I'm calling you for the first time.
Yes.
Before niseme ninaitwa Victoria, so and so nilikuwa ushaniambia maneno because you were hurt by another woman.
Yes.
Now you hear a woman's voice, ni matusi. You hear a woman's voice, ni matusi. And there's this other case where a lady got married to a poor man. And then she blamed the mother. Like, kama ungeolewa kama ungetafuta mwanaume tajiri, she's now talking about the father. Kama ungetafuta mwanaume tajiri akoe, sisi hatungekuwa maskini, hata mimi singepatana na mtu maskini. It is coming from her. No, she meant it. She really meant it. This was the first time I saw a lady talking to a mother like that. Wewe kama ungetafuta mwanaume tajiri, usikuelewa na huyo mtu maskini alikuwa nani baba sasa. Saizi ningekuwa nililelewa mahali tajiri, ningekuwa nimepatana na watu matajiri. Unajua, you go to the best school ya matajiri and then you end up getting married to a rich man. She really blamed the mother until Mungu alianza kumbless. Sasa I don't know how it ended because I was there. Yes.
It happens. There are things you carry na unazipeleka kwenu, unachukua unapeleka kwa watoto wako.
It goes like that.
Yes.
The reason why nimekuleta ndio watu waweze kujua kwamba maybe you're going through something. And there's this latest news ambayo imetokea. There's this girl mwenye tunaambiwa kwamba alipigia mamake simu akimprank. Akamwambia, "Mom, nitumie 500,000 kwa sababu mwenye alikuwa anataka kunisaidia alisema kama atanipea hiyo pesa nitaka hapo ku sacrifice." Mama kaza it was just a prank according to news zenye tumesoma. It was just a prank, like a child will call you. Now uambia watu wengine wasema, imagine nini Brenda ananiambia nimtumie 500,000 and kama sio hivyo mwenye anamsaidia ana demand sacrifice iwe. And then a bad thing happened. This woman was on her way going somewhere, akagongwa na ng'ombe and she died. Now the family is like, she has sacrificed the mother. That was the news. I don't know what she's going through. I hope she'll get this and watch it. Naanze kupiga nduru na jiblame akiweza apite your stage.
Yes.
Because now kila mtu anasema we don't want to see you because we know you have sacrificed our mother. She actually amejaribu kusema it was a joke, it was a prank, ni kitu ya kuwekanga mahali alafu watu wapate views na nini na nini. It did not end well. But now we have so many reasons that people go through na tunadeal nazo. Most of the time I think we deal with situation negatively. We end up messing up everything. Lakini tumeleta hii program ya loss and grief today, ndio ujue what you're going through na dawa yake ni gani. By the end of it tutajua uko mahali gani and tutafika pale pa hiyo kukubali sasa. You accept what you're going through.
Yes.